Imagine for a moment that you're standing in the ruins of an ancient temple, the air thick with the scent of forgotten incense, the stones beneath your feet whispering secrets of a time when truth was carved in silence. You've come here seeking something, an answer, a key, a way to unshackle yourself from a weight you can't quite name. It's a weight that clings to you like a shadow, draining your spirit, twisting your emotions into knots you didn't tie. You've felt it before, haven't you? That hollow ache, as if something vital was stolen from you, though no hand touched your flesh. You weren't wounded by blade or fist, yet the wound festers all the same, a theft of peace, a violation of your very soul. If this stirs a memory, if this echoes a quiet pain you've carried, then listen closely. You may have crossed paths with a narcissist, a thief cloaked in charm, a puppeteer of the mind who thrives not on blood but on control. And today, in the shadow of this ancient ruin, I'm going to unveil a secret lost to time. A single, powerful question that can pierce their illusions and lay bare their true nature. This is no mere trick. It's a weapon of clarity, forged in the fires of Stoic wisdom, and it will change the way you see not just them, but yourself. Picture the narcissist as a mirage in the desert of your life, a shimmering figure promising oasis, only to leave you parched and doubting the sand beneath your feet. They don't strike with force. Their power is subtler, more insidious. They twist your words, bend your reality, make you question the mirror of your own mind. You've seen it, perhaps, in the way they turn your boundaries into guilt, your needs into burdens, your voice into an echo they refuse to hear. They feed on your reactions, growing stronger with every tear you shed, every plea you utter. But what if I told you that within the vast library of human experience, there lies a forgotten scroll, a question so sharp, so precise, that it cuts through their web of deceit in an instant? This is no modern invention. It's an ancient truth, whispered by philosophers who stood unshaken amid chaos, who knew that the soul's greatest strength lies not in bending others, but in mastering itself. Today, we'll unearth that truth together, step by step, until you hold it in your hands like a torch against the dark. The narcissist's game is old as time, a dance of dominance played on the strings of your emotions. They crave a throne, your admiration, your submission, your endless attention, and they'll stop at nothing to claim it. They don't see you as an equal, but as a mirror to reflect their grandeur, a pawn to move at their whim. Their words are honeyed traps, their silences calculated blows. You've felt the sting of their entitlement, haven't you? The way they demand your sacrifice as if it's their birthright, the way they dismiss your pain with a flick of their tongue. And yet, their mask is fragile, a brittle shell hiding a void they dare not face. This is their secret weakness, the crack in their armor that the ancients understood. Marcus Aurelius, that Stoic emperor who ruled an empire yet conquered himself, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." His words are a lantern in this fog, illuminating a path the narcissist cannot tread. They thrive on your chaos, but they falter in your calm. Step closer now into the heart of this ruined temple, where the air grows still and the shadows deepen. Here, the Stoics left us a map, not to change the narcissist, for that is a fool's errand, but to reclaim what's ours. The narcissist wants your anger, your tears, your endless explanations. They feast on the storm they provoke. But what if you refused to play? What if, instead of shouting into their void, you stood firm, unshaken, and asked a question they cannot escape. This is the moment the mirage begins to flicker, the moment their power wavers. The question is simple, yet it carries the weight of centuries. Can you explain why your needs always seem to matter more than mine? Whisper it to yourself now. Feel its edges, its quiet force. It's not an accusation, not a plea. It's a mirror held up to their soul, a challenge they cannot meet without revealing the truth. A healthy mind might pause, reflect, seek balance. But the narcissist, they'll rage, deny, or twist themselves into knots of victimhood, and in that unraveling, you'll see them for what they are. This isn't about vengeance, it's about liberation. The Stoics knew that true power lies not in controlling others, but in guarding your own peace. When you ask this question, you're not fighting, you're observing. You're stepping out of their game and into your own strength. Picture it, a conversation where they push, prod, demand, and you, calm as the temple stones, let this question fall like a pebble into their storm. Their reaction is the revelation. Anger betrays their need to dominate. Denial exposes their deceit. Victimhood unveils their manipulation. You don't need to argue, to prove, to plead. You simply watch, and in watching, you free yourself. This is the ancient secret. They cannot hide from their own nature when you hold up this mirror. And as their mask slips, you'll feel the weight lift, the shadow retreat, the peace return. But knowing the question is only the beginning. It's a key, yes, but a key is useless without a hand to turn it. The narcissist's patterns are predictable, their tactics etched in the annals of human folly. Entitlement, lack of empathy, a hunger for praise that never sates. You've seen these signs, perhaps in a friend who takes without giving, a lover who blames without bending, a kin who wounds without remorse. The question exposes them, but it's your resolve that protects you. The Stoics taught us to stand like oaks in a gale, not to bend, not to break, but to root ourselves in what we know is true. As you wield this question, you'll uncover not just their truth, but your own. What have you tolerated too long? What have you surrendered that was never theirs to take? This is your invitation to reflect, to comment below. When has someone's reaction shown you their soul? Share your story, for in this temple of wisdom we're all seekers, unearthing the same timeless light. Their reaction is the revelation, and in that moment, the ancient truth becomes yours to wield. Picture yourself now no longer in the shadowed ruins of that forgotten temple, but standing on a wind-swept cliff, the sea crashing below, the horizon stretching wide and untamed. The air is sharp, alive with the salt of clarity, and in your hands you hold that single, piercing question. Can you explain why your needs always seem to matter more than mine? It's a blade of light, honed by the Stoics, and as you grip it, you feel the pulse of something older, something unshakable. The narcissist's mask has slipped. Their anger, their denial, their feigned victimhood have spilled forth like ink on parchment, staining the air with their truth. But this is not the end of the tale. It's the beginning of your ascent. For knowing their nature is one thing. Protecting your soul from their grasp is another. The ancients didn't just unveil the enemy. They forged a shield, a way to stand tall amid the storm. And now, with the wind at your back and the question as your compass, you'll learn to wield it, not just to expose, but to reclaim. Step into this moment, where the waves roar and the sky watches in silence. The narcissist's power is a fragile thing, built on the shifting sands of your reactions. They need you to bend, to break, to feed their endless hunger for control. But what if you didn't? What if, instead of crumbling beneath their weight, you rose like the cliff itself, unmoved, eternal, rooted in a strength they cannot touch? This is the Stoic way, a path carved by those who faced empires and betrayals, yet never lost their center. Marcus Aurelius, gazing across the chaos of Rome, wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." The narcissist seeks to paint your soul with doubt, guilt, confusion, but you hold the brush. Their tactics are no mystery. They're as old as the tides. They demand your time, your energy, your praise, and when you resist, they strike with guilt or rage. Yet the question you've learned is a tide of its own, pulling back their veil, leaving them exposed on the shore. Feel the ground beneath you now, solid and unyielding. The narcissist's game is predictable once you see it. Entitlement that brooks no refusal. Empathy that vanishes when it's no longer useful. A need for admiration that gnaws at them like a beast. You've known these shadows, haven't you? The friend who takes without giving. The lover who twists your words into weapons. The kin who sees your boundaries as an affront. But the question, can you explain why your needs always seem to matter more than mine? Is your lantern in their fog? Ask it and watch. Their anger is a confession of dominance, their denial a plea to keep the illusion alive, their victimhood a trap to pull you back in. You don't need to shout, to plead, to prove. You ask, you observe, and then you act. This is the secret the Stoics guarded. Your power lies not in changing them, but in choosing yourself. Choosing yourself. There's a weight to those words, a resonance that echoes through the ages. The narcissist will test you, push you, prod at the edges of your resolve. They'll call you selfish for standing firm, cruel for refusing their game. But listen, this is no cruelty. It's sovereignty. The Stoics knew that boundaries are not walls to shut out the world, but lines drawn in the sand to guard your peace. Seneca, that sage of iron will, said, "He who has great power should use it lightly." Your power is your calm, your silence, your refusal to be moved. When the narcissist demands more than you can give, you don't explain, you state, "I'm not available. Do not speak to me that way." Simple, direct, unyielding. The moment you justify, you hand them a thread to unravel. The moment you stay firm, you weave a shield they cannot pierce. Picture it now, the scene unfolding like a tapestry of your own making. A colleague leans on you, expecting you to carry their load, their voice dripping with guilt. "I thought you were a team player." You feel the old pull, the urge to bend, but instead you stand on that cliff and ask, "Can you explain why my workload is less important than yours?" Their defensiveness, their excuses, their attack, they're the wind howling against your stone, powerless to shift it. Or a relative, their words sharp with judgment. "It must be nice to have such an easy life." Once you might have faltered, but now you reply, "How do you feel when you criticize instead of support?" Their reaction, anger, denial, deflection, is the crack in their facade, the proof you need to step back. In a lover's dismissal, "You're too sensitive." You ask, "Can you explain why my feelings don't matter?" And in their response, you see the truth. They don't bend because they don't care to. This is no mere strategy. It's a revelation of your own worth. The narcissist thrives on your doubt, but the Stoics taught us to root ourselves in what's real. You don't need their approval, their understanding, their change. You need only your own resolve. Imagine a moment from your own life. Someone who took, who twisted, who left you drained. What if you'd asked that question then? What might you have seen? The beauty of this ancient truth is that it's yours now, a tool to wield today. Try it. Next time the shadow falls, ask, observe, and act. Don't argue. Don't chase their chaos. Stand on your cliff, let the wind howl, and watch their power fade. Epictetus, that freed slave turned philosopher, said, "If someone succeeds in provoking you, realize your mind is complicit in the provocation. Refuse the provocation, and you refuse their hold. Refuse their hold, and you'll feel the shift, a lightness, a freedom, a reclaiming of what was always yours. The narcissist's strength was never theirs. It was borrowed from you. With this question, with this stoic shield, you take it back. But wielding it takes practice, a honing of the spirit. What's one moment you'll face with this newfound clarity? Share it below. Let's build this wisdom together, a chorus echoing across the cliffs. For as you master this, you'll see their chaos was never your burden to bear. Their chaos was never your burden to bear, and in that truth lies the path to your unshakable peace. Imagine now that you've stepped off that windswept cliff and into a vast, starlit desert. The sand cool beneath your feet, the sky above a tapestry of infinite eyes watching in silent witness. The air hums with a stillness that feels alive, as if the universe itself is holding its breath, waiting for you to claim what's yours. You carry that question still. Can you explain why your needs always seem to matter more than mine? A talisman glowing faintly in your grasp, its power proven in the unraveling of the narcissist's mask. But this desert is no place of endings. It's a crucible, a proving ground where the stoic flame within you is tempered into something unbreakable. The narcissist's shadow may linger, their voice echoing in the dunes, but here, under these stars, you'll learn not just to expose them, but to rise above them, to walk through their storm as if it were a passing breeze, your spirit untouched, your peace unyielding. Feel the sand shift as you move forward, each step a quiet defiance of the weight you once carried. The narcissist's chaos was a mirage, a trick of light and sound that held you only as long as you believed it real. Now with the question as your guide, you've seen through the illusion. Their rage, their guilt, their endless demands were never about you, but about the void they cannot fill. Yet knowing this is not enough. The ancients didn't stop at understanding. They built a fortress of the mind. Marcus Aurelius, standing amid the clamor of war and betrayal, wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." His words are a star in this desert sky, a beacon calling you to action. The narcissist will not vanish. They'll circle, test, provoke. But you'll meet them not with swords or shouts, but with the quiet strength of a soul that knows its worth. This strength is no gift bestowed. It's a craft, honed in the fire of practice. Picture the narcissist before you now, their form rising from the sand like a specter of memory. Perhaps it's a boss, their voice sharp with expectation. If you want to succeed, you'll do this for me. Once you might have bowed, but now you stand tall and ask, "Can you explain why my work-life balance is less important than your demands?" The words fall like stones into still water, rippling through their facade. Their response, anger, deflection, silence, matters less than your stance. You don't argue. You state your boundary. "I'm not available. No explanation, no apology, just truth. Or perhaps it's a lover, their tone dripping with dismissal. You're making this bigger than it needs to be. You ask, can you explain why my emotions don't deserve acknowledgement? Their reaction is their confession, and you reply, do not speak to me that way. The sand holds you steady. The stars bear witness and their power crumbles. This is the Stoic art, not to fight, but to stand. The narcissist thrives on your turmoil, feeding on the cracks they pry open with guilt or scorn. But when you refuse to crack, when you meet their chaos with calm, they falter. Seneca, that voice of resilience, said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. How often have you feared their wrath, their judgment, only to find it hollow when you faced it? The desert teaches you this. Their storm is loud but fleeting, a gust that fades against your resolve. Try it. Next time they push, ask the question, watch their unraveling, and hold your ground. I'm not available. Do not dismiss me. Short, firm, final. The less you say, the less they can twist. The calmer you remain, the more their grip slips. This is no mere tactic. It's a reclaiming of your sovereignty, a step toward the peace you were born to hold. Step deeper into the desert now, where the stars grow brighter, their light pooling in the sand like liquid silver. Here, the Stoics left us stories, parables of those who faced the same shadows and emerged whole. Imagine a friend, their conversation a one-way river flowing only to their shores. You share a pace of your life, and they drown it with their own. Once you let it pass, but now you ask, can you explain why my experiences never seem to matter in our talks? Their laughter, their defensiveness, their sudden shift, it's the mask slipping, and you decide, no more reaching out, no more pouring into a vessel that won't hold you. They fade, as they always do when the supply runs dry, and in their absence you find a quiet you hadn't known you'd lost, or a kin, their words barbed with superiority. You think you're better than us. You ask, how do you feel when you tear me down instead of lifting me up? Their reaction, anger, denial, guilt, tells you they'll never see you, and you choose distance over despair. These are not battles won with noise, but with silence. Silence that speaks louder than their chaos. The narcissist wants your reaction, your justification, your surrender. Deny them that, and you deny them everything. Epictetus, that Stoic sage who rose from chains, said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. This is your power, to ask, to observe, to act. You don't need their approval to know your worth. You don't need their change to find your peace. The desert stretches wide, a canvas for your becoming, and each step you take with this question, this calm, this boundary, is a stroke of mastery. What's one boundary you'll set today? One moment you'll face with this ancient strength. Share it below. Let's walk this starlit path together, for in our stories, we forge a light no shadow can dim. In our stories, we forge a light no shadow can dim. And as you wield this wisdom, you'll find the narcissist's chaos fades like a dream at dawn. Imagine now that the starlit desert has given way to a towering mountain, its peak shrouded in mist, its slopes carved by the hands of time. You stand at its base, the air crisp and thin, the weight of the world falling away with each breath. The question, can you explain why your needs always seem to matter more than mine? Pulses in your chest like a heartbeat, a relic of ancient truth now fused with your being. The narcissist's echoes still linger, faint whispers on the wind, but here, on this sacred ascent, they hold no sway. This is no longer about exposing them. It's about transcending them, about climbing beyond their reach to a summit where your peace reigns supreme. The Stoics, those silent giants who walked this path before, left us not just a question, but a map to rise above, to master ourselves in a world that seeks to pull us down. Feel the stone beneath your hands as you climb, each grip a testament to your resolve. The narcissist's chaos was a chain, wasn't it? A tether forged from guilt, doubt, and endless demands, binding you to their will. But the question broke that chain, and now, with every step up this mountain, you shed the last of its rust. Their anger, their denial, their victimhood, they were never your burden, but a mirror of their own fragility. Marcus Aurelius, gazing from his own peak of wisdom, said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." This is the Stoic summit, not to hate, not to fight, but to rise. The narcissist thrives on your descent, your tears, your arguments, your surrender. But when you climb, when you refuse their game, they're left grasping at air, their power dissolving like mist in the morning sun. This ascent is yours alone, a journey inward as much as upward. The narcissist will always be there, a shadow in the valley below, but their voice grows fainter with each step. You've asked the question, seen their truth, set your boundaries. Now you refine the art. Picture a moment. A colleague demands your time, their tone sharp with entitlement. You need to stay late again. You ask, "Can you explain why my rest is less important than your schedule?" Their reaction, irritation, excuses, silence, confirms what you know, and you reply, "I'm not available." No debate, no fracture in your calm, or a lover dismissing your hurt. You're overreacting. You ask, "Can you explain why my feelings don't matter?" Their deflection is their answer, and you say, "Do not dismiss me." The mountain holds you steady, its silence amplifying your strength, and their chaos falls away, powerless against your ascent. Powerless against your ascent. This is the revelation the Stoics carved into the rock of time. The narcissist's strength was an illusion, borrowed from your willingness to bend. But when you stand firm, when you wield the question and guard your peace, you reclaim what was always yours. Seneca, that Stoic voice of clarity, said, "He who has great power should use it lightly. Your power is not in shouting them down, but in walking away, upward, onward, beyond. It's in the quiet no that needs no explanation, the boundary that stands like this mountain against the wind. They'll push, they'll prod, they'll try to drag you back to their level, but you climb, you ask, you observe, you act, and then you let go. Their reaction is their burden now, not yours. The higher you rise, the clearer it becomes. You were never meant to carry their void. Picture the summit now, the mist parting as you near the top, the world sprawling below in a hush of awe. Here, the Stoic's wisdom crystallizes. You cannot change the narcissist, but you can change everything about how you meet them. A friend monopolizes your energy, their needs drowning yours. You ask, "Can you explain why my voice never seems to matter?" Their defensiveness is their confession, and you choose silence over strain. No more chasing, no more giving to a well that won't fill. A kin wounds with words, their superiority a blade. You ask, "How do you feel when you tear me down instead of lifting me up?" Their rage or guilt is their truth, and you step back, your peace intact. Each encounter is a stone you place beneath your feet, building the path higher until their chaos is a distant murmur, lost in the valley's echo. Lost in the valley's echo. That's where they belong, not in your mind, not in your soul. This mountain is your sanctuary, a testament to what the Stoics knew. Your worth doesn't need their validation. Epictetus, that unshackled spirit, said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Freedom is here, in the calm you wield, the boundaries you uphold, the question you ask without fear. Try it today. Face the next shadow with this ancient light. Ask, stand, rise. Don't argue their chaos. Don't feed their storm. Let their reaction be their unraveling, and let your peace be your crown. What's one step you'll take toward this summit? One boundary you'll etch in stone? Share it below. Let's climb together, for in this ascent, we uncover a truth as old as the stars. Their chaos ends where your mastery begins. Their chaos ends where your mastery begins. And from this peak, you'll see the world anew, a place where your peace is yours to keep forever. Imagine now that you've reached the summit of that towering mountain, the mist dissolving into a golden dawn, the horizon ablaze with the promise of a day untainted by shadows. The wind sings softly, carrying away the last echoes of the narcissist's voice, their demands, their distortions fading into the abyss below. In your hands, you hold that ancient talisman. Can you explain why your needs always seem to matter more than mine? Its glow now a steady flame, a beacon forged in the crucible of Stoic truth. You've climbed through deserts and storms, faced the specters of manipulation, and emerged not just whole, but radiant. This is no mere victory over another. It's a triumph of the self, a reclaiming of the soul's quiet power. The narcissist's chaos lies shattered at the mountain's base, and here, in this sacred stillness, you stand, as the Stoics did, unshaken, sovereign, free. Feel the warmth of that dawn on your skin, the light seeping into every corner of your being. The journey wasn't about them. It never was. It was about you, about unearthing a truth so old it hums in the bones of the earth. You are not their mirror, their pawn, their fuel. The narcissist's game was a labyrinth, a maze of guilt and doubt. But the question you wielded was the thread that led you out. Marcus Aurelius, that emperor of iron and insight, said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." From this summit, his words are no longer distant. They're alive in you. You've asked the question, seen the masks fall, set your boundaries like stones in a riverbed. Their anger, their denial, their victimhood, their dust now, scattered by the wind of your resolve. And in their absence, you've found something eternal. Peace. Peace. This is the treasure the Stoics promised, the gold hidden beneath the chaos. It's not a gift bestowed by others. It's a fire you tend within. The narcissist will always roam the valleys below, their voices rising like smoke, but you've learned the art of the ascent. Picture it one last time. A boss demands your sacrifice, their tone heavy with expectation. "Can you explain why my rest is less important than your goals?" you ask. And their reaction, rage, deflection, silence, is their confession. "I'm not available," you say, and the mountain holds you firm. A lover dismisses your heart. "You're too emotional." "Can you explain why my feelings don't matter?" You reply, and their answer betrays them. "Do not dismiss me," you state, and the dawn lights your path. A kin wounds with words. You think you're above us. "How do you feel when you tear me down instead of lifting me up?" you ask, and their chaos unravels. "I choose distance," you decide, and the summit is yours. The summit is yours, not because you fought, but because you rose. Seneca, that Stoic sage of serenity, said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." How often did you fear their judgment, their wrath, only to find it powerless when you stood tall? The narcissist's strength was a shadow cast by your doubt, but the question, the calm, the boundaries, they were the sun that burned it away. You don't need to change them. You never did. You need only master yourself. Epictetus, that voice of liberation, said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Freedom is this: asking without fear, observing without fracture, acting without apology. Their chaos ends where your mastery begins, and from this peak you see it clearly. Your worth was never theirs to define. From this peak you see it clearly, a world where your peace is your birthright, your power your own. The narcissist's game is over, their illusions shattered by a single question, their control lost to your stoic shield. But this isn't the end. It's a beginning. The mountain stands as a testament, its silence a call to carry this wisdom into the valleys of your life. Every encounter, every shadow, is a chance to wield what you've learned. Ask the question, hold your ground, rise above. Let their reaction be their truth, and let your peace be your crown. This ancient light is yours now, a flame to pass on, a strength to share. The Stoics didn't just survive, they thrived, and so will you, not by bending the world, but by mastering your place within it. Mastering your place within it. That's the call echoing from this summit, a summons to action that rings through time. Take this wisdom today, let it live in your words, your choices, your silence. Face the next narcissist with the question, the calm, the boundary, and watch their chaos fade. Don't argue their storm, don't feed their void. Climb your mountain, claim your peace, and let the world see you shine. This isn't just a lesson, it's a revolution of the soul, a reclaiming of what was always yours. And here's your invitation to join the chorus. What's one moment you'll face with this stoic strength? One boundary you'll set, one question you'll ask? Share it below. Let's light this fire together, a community of seekers rising from the ashes of chaos. For in your story, in your ascent, you'll inspire another to climb, and together we'll forge a dawn no shadow can touch. Together, we'll forge a dawn no shadow can touch. And as you step into this new day, know this: the narcissist's chaos is powerless against the peace you've claimed, the mastery you've earned, the light you now carry.